We are wrestling. We are wrestling podcast.
They give a shout out to We Are Wrestling on YouTube.
You're watching We Are Wrestling.
I'm the host with the most.
You are by far the least intelligent.
What's going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. 1/3 of We Are Wrestling.
What's going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide. Ben here, the third of the talk show.
We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Make sure to subscribe, baby.
We are wrestling.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, the best one, Donnie here with.
What's going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. 1/3 of We Are Wrestling. We got Ben down here, man, the Asian Station. What's going on, man?
What's going on, guys? We are Wrestling Maniacs. It is Ben, the third here. How you guys doing today? Better than me, apparently.
Well, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, the best way to support us is by hitting that subscribe button now, turning on the post notifications. Videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course, you already know the grind is real. And we got some pretty solid topics this week for the podcast. Last Saturday, WWE Backlash in Puerto Rico, great feedback. And this week, Raw started off with, the draft, and then AEW Dynamite. Tony Khan, he has a big announcement next week involving our main event topic that we're going to be covering on the podcast this week. But with that being said, let's get into the first topic for this week's episode of the podcast.
Let's get it, man.
So, speaking of WWE Backlash, several backstage in WWE spoke about how much Carlito has matured since his last WWE run, and were very impressed with the crowd reactions he got at Backlash. There's been pitches happening within the past few years to bring Carlito back full-time. As of this past weekend, it was a one-off, but that could always change. These reports were according to Fightful. Do you want to see Carlito back in WWE?
Honestly, I'm here for it. The reaction at Backlash was probably the biggest pop that he got, obviously, since the Rumble. And that one was kind of a little bit underwhelming, considering, it's fucking Carlito, But at Puerto Rico, obviously, they resonated hellaciously with him. Obviously, the dude is, he's from there, right?
I believe
from
so,
there.
yeah.
I know he's billed from, the Caribbean, but he's actually, from Puerto Rico, right? So he's another fucking hometown boy, basically. So not only is that already a magical pop, but whenever there's a surprise return, it's usually pretty big. But at that caliber, he was the right person at the right place at the right time to bring out for LWO. So I think that was definitely a huge treat, and that reignited, the want to have him there. So I'm for it, obviously. I could definitely see Carlito coming back into the fold somehow. I think he'd have a hard time being heel again at the moment, because he definitely got a face pop. So it would be a very hard thing to try to switch that immediately. But if done right and he's in the right program, it could work 100%. I'm with it.
How do you feel, Danny, about WWE potentially bringing back Carlito? Do you want to see it happen?
I actually do, and I think during the watch along, I was the one mentioning I'm not sure if this is just a one off or if he did sign some kind of Legends deal or some just to have him on TV for a couple of months. I'd be down to see it. From what everybody's saying, he's matured a lot. Since his last run in WWE, and his run didn't last very long. It lasted a couple of years, but once he left. He's not like one of those superstars that left and then, came back, and he, a lot of stars, especially nowadays, they leave, they come back. They leave, they come back. He's never been that. He left and he just never returned except for one-offs. So I'd be down to see it, I mean, depending on if it's in the right story, you know, I don't want him to just come back and, you know, just for the sake of having Carlito on TV. I want it to make sense. I'd be down to see it.
Man, before you go in, Don, and like actually like, definitely bring up some facts. I gotta say, man, I think a lot of people want to see it too, because did you see our reaction? That shit blew up everywhere. It blew up
2,000 views as we're recording.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts, man. Like, and I think that's just TikTok alone or something like that. I'm like, damn. Like,
it has almost I posted on my TikTok and it has almost 9,000 views.
Dude, that's fucking nuts. That's fucking nuts. Like, I'm like, god damn, everybody wants to fucking see Carlito come back, dude. But I'm like I said, I'm here for it. Don, what do you think?
Who doesn't want Carlito back at this point? For like the past 2 years, that's all we've been hearing in the wrestling community. When's Carlito coming back to WWE? When is it going to happen? And honestly, if there's a time for Carlito to come back to WWE on a full-time deal, it's right now. You just had the draft with Monday Night Raw and, Friday Night SmackDown. And they could use some more, guys that have had exposure to the WWE universe. And a guy like Carlito, especially with the pop that he got, I think this would really help a lot of these, new guys that Triple H is trying to, develop and, bring to the next level. I could see Carlito, having a pretty good storyline. I could see him and Dominic doing something really good that can really, elevate Dominic. I think, Carlito's presence, that would be the big thing here. And you can even have him be a part of LWO. He was wearing his shirt, looked great, honestly.
Yeah, dude.
He looks jacked compared to how he was.
I was so hyped.
Like, if you look at how Carlito looked, like, on his first initial run with WWE, he didn't necessarily look like a WWE superstar. The dude is just he
went from literally a capuchin monkey to a straight up fucking ape. Like, the dude went from a fucking capuchin monkey to a straight up ape, dude. Like, the dude is fucking jacked now. Like, he was like, when he showed up back, what was it, 2022's Royal Rumble was his first initial one-off again in the match was 2020, 2022 or 23, right? 22.
That or 2021, I don't remember.
Bro, I don't know which one it was, but that dude came out looking like a tall-ass glass of fucking cinnamon milk that was just sitting in fucking muscle powder. I was just like, damn.
And then he got to wrestle on Raw, and he got a huge pop. Yeah. And in wrestling, reactions is everything. If you're connecting with the audience, then you're doing something right. And Carlito would be a fantastic babyface, and you can have him work with guys that you're trying to put over as heels.
Bro, the moment he bit the apple, that was it. And then he hit the backstabber immediately. I was like, yes!
The Royal Rumble that he returned at, was that the same Rumble that MVP came back at?
No, that was no. MVP came back in 2020 along with Edge.
2020.
Yep.
All right.
But honestly,
that was a magical year.
I'm all for it because we have a lot of these new guys, but having some of these guys that were popular in their eras, it's good to bring them back, especially if they're in ring shape and they still got it. Which clearly Carlito, he's more than still got it. So honestly, I'm game for having Carlito back in WWE. And if you're not cool.
No, you deserve to get that fucking apple shredded up in your face, son. Nah, dude, that shit was awesome. I'm still reeling in from it. Like, I can't get over genuinely how good Backlash was. Like, it was genuinely good minus the finish. But other than that, it was phenomenal.
The main event with Brock and Cody, definitely a huge disappointment. And to be honest, like, I knew the match was going to be a train wreck from the beginning, based off of how Brock's matches are usually structured. They should have definitely had Bad Bunny and Damian Priest in the main event.
That should have been the main event. 100%.
It's a Puerto Rico pay-per-view with LWO and fucking Bad Bunny. Hell yeah, that should have been the fucking main event. That was the only flaw. Other than that, because we knew from that moment that it wasn't getting any better after that. Like, that shit peaked during that match.
Bro, I heard some news, man. I heard some news about so I watched After the Bell. They started posting the podcast on the WWE YouTube channel now, like the actual videos. They just did a Damian Priest episode, And
Nice.
apparently one of Damian Priest's aunt was Bad Bunny's grade school teacher.
Oh.
So they have a long history together, bro. I didn't realize that. Damian mentioned that on the podcast.
That was probably one match where everybody was getting rooted for, even though they knew it was a storyline. Like, everybody in that match got their fucking flowers that night, dude. Like, Damian, it did not hurt him whatsoever. Bad Bunny, it just catapulted him even further. And then having Carlito in the fucking mix, my guy.
Let's add also Savio Vega too, man.
Dude.
That was awesome.
Dude, I cannot get over, like, obviously the dude is older now. He looked like, he was starting to get a little bit of legend body, if you know what I mean. But dude can still fucking move. You saw how flawless that fucking that chop kick was, right? And for a dude that size, and he's like stretching out and shit, I'm like, how the fuck? This is fucking awesome, dude. Savio Vega, oh my god. It was so
And
good.
that's the thing, like, with Savio Vega, a lot of people don't realize that Savio Vega still wrestles. He does a lot of stuff for MLW, I believe.
Yes, that's
He did some
that is
work
true.
with Richard Holiday from the last time I saw him wrestle.
Richard Holiday. I've heard
Richard
that name
Holiday.
Northeast
Richard
Wrestling.
Holiday. He's the one that fought Karrion
Yes.
Kross or Killer Cross.
Killer Cross wiped the floor with that, man. So yeah, okay, got you. I was like, now I remember.
Yeah, man, Richard Holiday's one. Before he and MLW, they moved on from each other.
Mhm.
Richard Holiday was actually one of their top guys over in that promotion.
Okay.
He was a part of a faction with MJF and this other guy, Alex Hammerstone. They were a part of this group called the Dynasty.
Oh, okay. I know exactly what you're talking about now. All right, cool. Thank you for that little piece of history there.
And that's the thing, like, getting into Backlash, because, of course, the Carlito topic, perfect way to, dive into Backlash. Obviously, if you guys did not, check out the watch-along, Danny, myself, and Ben, we actually did a watch-along on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel to Backlash. We usually do we do all the pay-per-view reactions, AEW and WWE on the We Are Wrestling channel and Danny H Vlogs channel on YouTube.
Yoop.
So, what were your thoughts on Backlash overall, guys?
It was a 9.5 out of 10 for me. I thought the show was actually pretty fucking flawless because I was genuinely impressed with every fucking match. Like, I was not expecting myself to really be invested in the Io Sky and fucking Bianca Belair match, but that was one of my favorite matches of the fucking night, if I'm being honest. Like, dude, we need Io Sky in singles competition, 100%. They need to fucking break up the goddamn Damage Control. They got to put Bayley back in singles, and Dakota Kai, I could see her still being in a tag team, just not with Io Sky. Like, Io Sky that night, dude, blew
Shine.
my fucking mind, bro. Like, I could not believe, like, even she was getting huge fucking reactions in the crowd, and she wasn't even getting booed. Like, they were just like, they wanted Io, bro. Like, that match was great. The fucking SmackDown women's fucking championship match was pretty decent. I did enjoy the Brock and Cody match. I just feel like it should have been swapped as main event.
I'm with you on that one.
It should have been swapped 100%. The
100%.
tag team match with fucking the triple threat was actually good. Solid fucking finish. We got some more seeds planted for fucking tomorrow night. Stoked for that shit. So I'm expecting some hyped ass reactions from both of you guys.
Oh, yeah.
The Bloodline fucking story is about to get nuts. But yeah, fucking Backlash in general was just an enjoyable show front to back, minus the finish. Again, if had that fucking main event gotten swapped, it would have been a fucking 5-star show for me. I fucking enjoyed the shit out of it. I might get marked the fuck out for it. I might get fucking heat for it, but I loved Backlash this
I
year.
guess I'm getting heat with you
It was
because
fucking
I enjoyed
amazing.
it.
Yeah, I guess we're all getting heat, man. I really enjoyed it. It was.
Let's bring this all fucking down.
Let's go.
I would probably give it the same. I would probably give it the same rating.
Fucking sweet.
You know, I enjoyed it. I do believe it was one of the best live crowds that they've been in front of in God. Like, I can't even honestly remember.
Dude,
They
I
were
think
probably
that's
even
what
more
helped.
They were probably even more crazy than WrestleMania.
And I'm going to say this right now. Dude, hot take, but yes, I do agree with that. even Omos fucking held up his shit. Like, I was impressed with Omos, bro. Like, all right, Dan, I can already see you starting
Ben,
to.
Please save that for me with Omos.
Like, literally, I was genuinely impressed with Omos and Seth Rollins. Like, they both made each other look super good. That was probably Omos's best match so far. Like, he genuinely held up in the ring that night, and I was actually pretty here for it. Like, I was pumped for it.
So I think it's time for, me to, speak the truth here about Omos, because in case you haven't been a listener to the We Are Wrestling podcast, you all know firsthand, out of all three of us, I slander Omos the most. Probably more than any average wrestling YouTuber out there.
Yeah.
Not more than me, man. This is a competition,
Yeah,
bitch.
I think between you guys, it's a pissing contest for how much y'all hate Omos.
Well, I compared him to the friggin' Green Giant.
There's probably other derogatory shit that Danny would probably associate him with too. So
Yeah, it's definitely a pissing contest. But back to, me acknowledging Omos this one time. And I'm going to say this before I acknowledge him. I want to see more from him. This is the real test here. He did a fantastic job against Seth Rollins. I was very impressed, because I am always the one to say it takes two to tangle. And it wasn't just Seth Rollins that made that match great. It was Omos as well at the end of the day, because he wasn't botching anything for once. And I can't believe I'm going to say this. Omos did a really good job at Backlash, and I can admit the truth with that.
So, where I'm so proud of you, that is a huge step in the right direction for you. Where I'm completely trying to hype up Omos, I can't discard the thought out of my head that even if Omos wasn't in the match, that Seth Rollins would make a 5-star classic with a paper bag. So it's like, I don't know if I should be hyping up Omos as much, but I'm still going to hype up Omos because that was a great fucking match.
No, there were some really good spots that he did in that match. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like being on the knees and then flipping Seth Rollins over.
That shit was
awesome.
lit. Dude, that was a holy shit moment. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, okay. And even fucking just like a stomp, just literally like Omos was fucking on his knees and he was almost as tall as Seth. I'm like, damn. Anyways, continue.
All right, so I will say this. All right.
Have you done some reflecting?
For an Omos.
What your thoughts were
for an Omos.
review.
For an Omos match, man. For an Omos match. It was decent. It wasn't anything spectacular. It was decent, right?
I'll take that from you.
I'll take that too.
I do have to say, I still feel like a lot of it was the fact that he was in there with somebody like Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins is just that fucking good at what he does.
Again, paper bag 5-star classic. I completely agree. That's why I'm trying to dial it down, but I genuinely can't because it was a great match.
And that's the thing, Danny. We both should be proud of ourselves, because they say the first thing you do when you have a problem is you admit it. And we're actually somewhat acknowledging Omos. I will fully acknowledge him when I see these great matches moving forward. And I really hope that we don't go back to Omos versus a jobber. We need to have Omos go against these guys that are experienced like Seth Rollins, because it's going to bring out the best in him. And I heard from reports, man, WWE was very impressed with Omos's performance because he held his own in that match.
Yeah, definitely. It trips me out that it took this long for him to get decent when he spent months in a tag team with somebody like AJ Styles and pretty much, went up Schitt's Creek with it and didn't really do much.
Well, he was so good, Danny, that he didn't even have to wrestle on NXT Black and Gold. They sent him straight to the main roster.
Yeah, from the Performance Center. What the fuck is that? Like, I'm genuinely kind of shocked that they did that. Like, and it kind of shows. But
it
obviously,
happened with Braun Strowman too. He went from being a rosebud to being on the main roster.
Vince McMahon sees a big guy and gets the illest boner for the world, all right? So obviously it was going to happen. It was inevitable. Like, even Braun Strowman needed some fucking crafting too. It's like Vince takes these fucking lumps of coal, throws them into like a gold mine, and just kind of hopes and wishes for the best that they, get all the dark spots off and it's just shining. But it doesn't work that way.
Not always.
It doesn't.
But guys, we'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling podcast. Saturday, June 17th, 2023, both Captain's Corner and Zombie Hideout are bringing professional wrestling back to the New England area with the Wrestling Classic 3, which will be a wrestling convention bringing in some of the best wrestlers throughout the years at this event in Springfield, Mass. at the South End Community Center. You can meet Hall of Famers Kurt Angle, Lex Luger, DDP, AEW stars, The Guns, and so many more classic stars to be announced on Saturday, June 17th. And for the first time ever, We Are Wrestling. We're going to be a vendor. We're going to be working with Zombie Hideout and Captain's Corner with this event. Best One Donnie has had the opportunity to go to both the Wrestling Classic 1 and 2. And let me tell you, the Wrestling Classic 3 is going to be like no other. And if you want to, have an opportunity to meet some of the best in the business, they will be in Springfield, Mass. on Saturday, June 17th. South End Community Center in Springfield, Mass. Also, the We Are Wrestling team will be there with a table. We'll be having merchandise, and we'll also be giving away some stuff as well. And of course, you already know, we'll be vlogging as well. You're definitely not going to want to miss this event. Get your tickets now. We're back. Our next topic on this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast. So, according to Fightful, there are reports that when CM Punk returns to AEW, he will be having his first feud with Chris Jericho. But CM Punk has been pushing for another return opponent out of the gate. And just about an hour ago, before we recorded the podcast, the reports are that CM Punk wants to face Samoa Joe. What are your thoughts on, or who do you want to see CM Punk feud with when he comes back to AEW?
So one, I do want to comment on the Samoa Joe. That honestly kind of took me by surprise, but then again, I shouldn't be surprised because both of them shared some time in Ring of Honor. I am kind of surprised that that's like the first person he wants to go with. Specifically, one, Samoa Joe is like the smallest big guy out there. Like he's not a small dude by any means, but he's he's not like Omos big, but that's like a big bite for a return match, considering not only is Samoa Joe like prone to injury right now too, it's just such a random name. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of surprised. At the same time, Joe's out on injury, right?
He's in Ring of Honor.
Oh, he's in Ring of Honor. That's right. Okay. I'm kind of surprised, but then again, there might be some history there that I'm not aware of.
Which I'll get into during this topic.
Ring of Honor.
Bet. Like they spent time in Ring of Honor with each other. However, I do think that in a way he's not really in a place to choose an opponent, especially with how things ended. I think that the first feud would be good to have Chris Jericho. Obviously the dude is like the veteran in the entire business of AEW. Like that dude is the guy, and he's kind of the dude that diffused the situation in a way, So I feel like it's only right that he goes against Jericho first, just so they can like test out waters with each other, just to show. I feel like it's more so to see that where his head's at. I guess like a good first opponent. Being brought back after so long. It's been what, a little over a year since he's been gone, right?
Since All Out last August.
Okay, so almost a year that he's been gone. So I feel like professionally, to just kind of see where everything stands, it would be a good idea to go against fucking Chris Jericho first. 100%.
So, Danny, who would you like to see CM Punk feud with first?
I wouldn't mind him feuding with Jericho, but also with the history that him and Samoa Joe have from their time in Ring of Honor before, obviously, Punk went to WWE and everything like that. And, that was really where Punk made a name for himself. I wouldn't mind them, revisiting that feud in some way and being on a national platform because back in that time, Ring of Honor wasn't necessarily a syndicated television show yet.
Nope.
Nope.
Having them on like a big platform like AEW, showing what they can do or whatever, they both have long histories in the business, besides just with each other. I think that would be really good for business. But also Jericho, I do think Punk and him could revisit their feud in a way from when they were both in WWE, and Jericho was talking about Punk's alcoholic father and all that stuff. I do feel like they could do some good stuff there. But also Jericho's in the middle of a feud with Adam Cole, so we don't know where this feud is gonna go.
We don't know
if it's gonna end at Double or Nothing or if it's gonna continue from there. You know what I mean? So.
Mm-hmm. So, my opinion, it's CM Punk versus Chris Jericho.
I do gotta go though. I apologize.
No worries,
but I hope you guys have a good rest of the episode, man. I apologize. But hopefully we can get some extras done in a couple of days. So,
yes,
all right,
sir.
Brother. It was good seeing you.
Alrighty, man. Take it easy.
Right. Peace, guys.
So, guys, Danny did have to leave. He did have some family things happen, right away. And when we're doing the episodes live, you never know what's going to happen. So, it is me and the Lone Ranger here, baby. So, my thoughts on the CM Punk versus Chris Jericho thing. Honestly, there's two ways here, because before the Samoa Joe news came out, I actually did think that CM Punk versus Samoa Joe, that would be a great feud to, go back in history and, revisit. Because CM Punk and Samoa Joe, they've had one of the most iconic rivalries in Ring of Honor. This was around the time Samoa Joe, and these are some of the old Ring of Honor facts that I did find, before these reports.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe versus CM Punk. Anytime these two wrestled in Ring of Honor, CM Punk never beat Samoa Joe because Samoa Joe was undefeated for a couple of years in Ring of Honor. So that's where the interesting thing is. Plus, Tony Khan has the library to Ring of Honor. So if you're going to have this be a match for All In or All Out, there you go. You have a whole story. And there's not going to be really any pieces missing to the puzzle because Tony Khan has the Ring of Honor library, the secret formula to the Krabby Patty.
The secret formula. So a little bit background about me. For those of you guys who don't know, I was strictly kind of tied to WWE my entire life. So I obviously, dabbled with TNA at the time when it was still Total Nonstop Action. I back when it still had the six-sided ring.
I miss those days.
I do too, and I really wish AEW would fucking implement it, but that's a story from another time.
I wish TNA would just bring it back already.
You mean Impact?
Oh yes, Impact. What is it next week? GCW.
Car crash. But anyways.
Global Force Wrestling, GFW.
But yeah, I was tied to WWE my entire life for the most parts, but obviously I dabbled with it with TNA at the time for a little bit, back in between 2005 and I want to say 2011 on and off. I was there for TNA, so I knew who Samoa Joe was by that time. I got introduced to AJ Styles. I got reintroduced to Jeff Jarrett. Bobby Roode was there. So these are some guys that I got introduced to through TNA. So I already knew these guys. So I didn't see any of Ring of Honor. I didn't even know what the fuck Ring of Honor was, I think, until maybe it dropped on my radar around 2012, 2013 is when I really started hearing about Ring of Honor.
Kenny Omega, Young Bucks.
I didn't even know who the fuck was there. I just knew that there was a promotion called Ring of Honor.
Okay.
And I knew that there was some big names that had performed there. CM Punk I've heard was in Ring of Honor. Samoa Joe I heard was in Ring of Honor, and I just never really dawned on me that I should go check it out. So now seeing all of the talent that's come from there, big names like Samoa Joe, CM Punk, and knowing that there was history.
Hey, one of your favorites, man, Seth friggin' Rollins.
Mm-hmm. It's like I said, man. It's so bizarre to hear about this now, so late in the game. So I think eventually I'm gonna go back down the rabbit hole and check those matches out. I didn't know that he was built as an unstoppable force at one point. I mean, obviously he has the stature of a walking, talking fucking Godzilla, but I didn't know that. So that's a fun fact to know.
And that's the thing, with Ring of Honor, I knew about it around the same time you said.
Yeah.
It was never something I wanted to tune into because at the time I was younger and I was more into the storytelling, the storylines. And with TNA, that was my ultimatum when I was younger because I loved how unique it was. The 6-sided ring, the TNA originals like Samoa Joe and AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels. And I started to really pay attention to Ring of Honor when Cody Rhodes joined Ring of Honor. And then, the Elite was there. Marty Scurll's one of my favorite guys. And then, Mark Briscoe, Jay Briscoe.
Was Cody there post WWE?
Post WWE. When he left WWE, he went to Ring of Honor.
And then he started doing indies and stuff, right?
During his Ring of Honor run, yes.
Gotcha. Okay. It's good to know where the history resides and what years around, just so I kind of have an idea.
Yeah. So now getting back into the CM Punk versus Chris Jericho thing, here's where I'm in between things.
Okay.
Now, if I had to pick CM Punk versus Jericho or Samoa Joe, honestly, I prefer CM Punk versus Samoa Joe for All In. I think that they should definitely have that match happen because All In is a show where, they're trying to go all in. And,
literally,
they pretty much 90,000 people are going to be at Wembley Stadium. And with
Wembley, that's right.
CM Punk and Samoa Joe, honestly, I feel like they would have a better match than CM Punk and Chris Jericho.
My God, man, they have a
But
way
here's
with words.
where things fall on the other side of the spectrum.
Okay.
CM Punk versus Chris Jericho. The reason why I think that this would be a good thing for Punk to come back to is because one of the people that were vocal about CM Punk's actions at the All Out media scrum was Chris Jericho, the guy who resolved all the issues and basically went on afterwards to say that CM Punk was a cancer to AEW. And with the issues there, and if I'm AEW, you're trying to make the most money in wrestling, period. And when something's hot, you want to, pretty much take advantage of it. And we already
Capitalize.
know the Young Bucks, Kenny, CM Punk, I don't think they're going to be doing any business together. But if there's anybody that's close to that, it would be Chris Jericho, who is an
Absolutely.
AEW day one as well.
It's not even just the fact that, it's definitely very much so the fact that he's an AEW day one, but it's also the fact that he is arguably the most decorated wrestler of our time right now. He's been everywhere. He's won everything. He's put over and built massive stars today. It's Chris Jericho is the diamond in the business. He's if you have him on your roster, be fucking thankful because that dude is a draw in his own right. The
And
dude
his
is over
loyalty
50.
too, especially man to TK. He is, when he's been taking bullets for TK, man,
has.
since he's been a part of this promotion.
See, and that's the thing. I don't think, when it comes to Jericho specifically, I don't think it's really a loyalty to TK. I think it's just loyalty in general. It's really, he is one of those people that, goes to business for himself for sure, and rightfully so. I think Chris Jericho, arguably just is loyal to whoever's doing the right thing. And right now, TK, out of everybody, we're starting to finally go somewhere with WWE with Hunter in charge now, but it's really realistically, who's doing the best for business. And right now, for a long time, it's Tony Khan. Tony Khan, I shit talk a lot of his booking decisions. I question a lot of his decisions in general, but there is no fucking denying that dude is the next Vince McMahon. There's no denying that one day he's going to be as big as Vince. I'm not going to say he's going to do all those horrible things that Vince did, but
I was about to say,
yeah, I'm not going to say
where
that.
I was going to stop you.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say that he's going to do all that shit, but he's going to be as big as Vince McMahon one day. Mark my fucking words, man.
Oh yeah,
call me a fucking idiot.
And we're gonna get into it, man, on our main event topic, man.
All right, bet. Then,
AEW,
then I'll
they
shut
got
the
some
fuck
big
up.
news coming up.
Then I'll shut right the fuck up then.
Honestly, before the Samoa Joe thing came out, that's who I wanted to see CM Punk, have a match with. I think that, especially with Samoa Joe always beating CM Punk, that kind of adds that edge to CM Punk to, try to beat Samoa Joe.
At that point, then, they need a 5-star classic so neither of them get fucking hurt in terms of, either of their pushes or momentum. Then, that, they need a match where it helps each other 100%, and that could be a fire fucking match. Honestly, it makes sense either way. depending on where they go. It makes sense. So whichever way they go, I'm down, and odds are by that time it'll be streaming on HBO Max potentially.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll be watching fucking All In. So I'll be watching All In, and apparently they're going to be streaming on HBO Max full time soon. And if that's the case, boom. I'm sorry, God, did I just say something I wasn't supposed to?
Nope.
Okay, good. Then I'm good. I just want to make sure.
So with CM Punk, man, honestly, I'm just excited, just period, to see him, come back. I think that, especially with, the recent reports we saw him visiting WWE, trying to squash, beef with, Triple H and, even The Miz, and then going to Impact, playing some fucking Uno with some buddies, having a good time, supporting, Impact, who's still alive to this day. Don't know how, but,
yeah,
him going there, being supportive, I respect that. And honestly, I'm just ready to see CM Punk come back. And whether it's Jericho or Samoa Joe, I think just as a wrestling fan and as an AEW fan, this is going to be good for business.
Oh, for sure. Especially
and I really hope one day, this is what I really hope one day happens, Ben.
What?
We need CM Punk and Kenny Omega to wrestle so fucking bad.
Bro, it's inevitable. They're gonna. It's inevitable. Especially after everything that happened, for a fact, and AEW is notorious for making big situations into a fucking work. So, but then again, WWE is too, but this one is highly personal because this was headlining news for like fucking months, bro. Like to the point where I openly got disdainful, and resentful about it on We Are Wrestling. So, it was a big thing. So now All In, that's at Wembley, right?
Wembley, yes.
Dude, that is massive.
But before, man, we get into all the Wembley stuff, we'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling podcast. One thing We Are Wrestling recommends you to do is support your local independent promotions. They are the stars of tomorrow. And you never know, sometimes when you go to these shows that might only have 10 to 30 people, you could be seeing the next future WWE champion, maybe even the next AEW star. And through the years, I've always been a huge advocate to supporting independent wrestling. And you can't go wrong. It's a cheap night out, you get a good time with the family, and you get to watch some good old wrestling. Independent wrestling, that's where usually a young professional wrestler starts their career. And having these opportunities to perform in front of crowds is a great way to get exposure to where they will eventually be on your television screen watching them every week. We recommend you guys to support indie wrestling.
What is going on, everybody? Danny Huggins here, man. You guys are watching the We Are Wrestling podcast. I want to be acknowledged!
We're back, and every week now on the We Are Wrestling podcast, we pick one random comment from a We Are Wrestling Maniac on our YouTube channel. This week, we have a loyal We Are Wrestling Maniac at Hitman6945.
Hey, Hitman.
And he commented on our Carlito reaction video that we uploaded after our stream from Backlash, and he said, and I quote, "Man, as someone from Puerto Rico, I was so happy for both Savio Vega and Carlito at WWE Backlash tonight. Them with the LWO, helping out Bad Bunny against the Judgment Day was just awesome. Both Damian Priest and Bad Bunny deserve a lot of credit. That was hell of a match. Kudos to both guys."
Hell yeah, man. Like, again, arguably, that was one of the best matches in WWE in recent history. Like, it was, a lot of people do not like celebrity matches, and I can understand because a lot of them are goofy as fuck, and a lot of them are, for the hype and to either promote a movie, whatever, to promote something or to mix it up a little bit,
Well, and before you go on real quick,
yeah,
and a lot of people feel a certain way about celebrity matches because look at a lot of the celebrities we got in the past. A lot of them weren't passionate wrestling fans like Bad Bunny and like Logan Paul and Pat McAfee.
Oh, And that's the crazy thing. Like even Logan Paul said he's like straight up to Edge that he loves it, but he's not like in love with it like everybody else that's in the active roster, which is a daring thing to say. But Edge is very much so a very big professional. So
and Logan still watches the product. He still does his research, man.
Yeah, and Edge still complimented the shit out of him. He's like I see you doing shit. Like yeah, I'd blow my fucking hips out. Like he's like yeah, you jumped off a ladder. What are you talking about? I was like that was stupid. Like yeah, but Bad Bunny, man, arguably, like Logan Paul, like I am not gonna discredit that dude whatsoever. That dude was born for this shit. Like Logan Paul has everything that I would want in a WWE superstar, and he's been killing it since he stepped in the fucking ring, and everything has just gotten good. He's already fucking amazing on the mic. But going to Bad Bunny, that dude has swagger that I can't even define. Like I can't even put like a number on that swagger, bro. Like Bad Bunny came into this fucking show and stole it from the moment he fucking walked into a WWE ring for the first time. Stole it. I was very worried at first because I'm like, Bad Bunny? Like, what? Like, I knew who Bad Bunny was, and I knew that he's like, if not for a while, he was like the #1 streaming artist forever. He was like the biggest artist. He is still one of the top artists right now. Exactly. And, I thought that they were really just going off that hype and that he was just going to get the fucking... He was going to be swept on the fucking floor, I thought he was just going to be one of those dudes that just gets their ass kicked. But ever since fucking WrestleMania, bruh, ever since WrestleMania of last year or 21?
I think it was a couple of years ago, him and Damian Priest versus Miz and Morrison, right?
Bro, yes. Bro. Holy fucking shit. Like, from that moment on, I was like, oh my god. But this match specifically, dude, did you see anybody that has watched that fucking watch along that we did to Backlash? I could not get over the shape this dude got into. Holy fucking shit. His first match, he wore like a bulletproof vest and kind of swatted out a little bit, right? And he was, he was never in bad shape. Bad Bunny has never been in like terrible shape, at least that I know of. Dude is fucking tanked now. Dude is fucking ripped now. I'm like, god damn, like he lost the vest and everything. Dude's got pecked up. He's beefed up like a fucking meat castle. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And you could tell, like, it is absolutely respectable when you have a career and you put that bitch completely on hold to train in the ring for this shit. Not even just like a week. The dude went months in this shit.
And he was doing concerts in between this training too,
exactly.
Which is insane.
Conditioning as a professional wrestler is so fucking hard, bro. Like, it is like top-notch shit, but you could tell this man put his body to work. Not even just in the match itself. That dude gave his body to the match. But he put in the work to get not only conditioned for this match, to get in the shape for this match, to have the fucking attitude for this match. And every time he's gotten into an angle, he's built it up fucking flawlessly. Like, he doesn't even have to really be there all that much, and I could believe everything this dude says and does. Like, I would not mind if Bad Bunny had the same kind of contract as Logan Paul. I would not mind whatsoever. Language barrier aside, I don't fucking care,
I feel like they're
bro.
definitely getting about the same money. They definitely have to be.
Oh, dude, Bad Bunny is one of the highest paid fucking musicians in the world. So, yeah, he's definitely getting that money, bro. And WWE is the place where they can provide it. So.
And here's what I got to say, man, to @Hitman6945.
Let's go.
You guys deserve more events. Because Backlash, that crowd was lit. We had a great time on the stream because of the fans in Puerto Rico. And honestly, I'm sorry, but us in the U.S., we don't deserve weekly television shows. We don't deserve pay-per-views. We don't deserve Royal Rumbles and WrestleManias and SummerSlams and Survivor Series. We don't deserve any of it.
Dude, Puerto Rico has the best fucking, the best crowd in professional wrestling. Dude, they were arguably better than WrestleMania. And WrestleMania is like the stage of all stages in this fucking business. That is the place to be.
I could say it. Hot take. That crowd was better than WrestleMania.
Oh, dude, that's not even a hot take. That's a fucking cold hard fact. And there was like at least double the amount of people at WrestleMania than there was at this show.
And then watch Money in the Bank in the UK. They're going to be more lit than WrestleMania.
Dude, every country
AEW,
but our
all
fucking
in.
own.
They're going to be more lit.
Dude, the USA fucking sucks when it comes to being a crowd, dude. Like they fucking suck. We suck dick as a country. For professional wrestling, we fucking suck dick at crowd reactions. Get your fucking game up, dude. Like, oh my god, like the last crowd that was genuinely pretty decent, and luckily we were there, was Survivor Series. Like, I've actually rewatched Survivor Series, and the crowd was pretty decent, but nowhere fucking near Puerto Rico. Like, not only did the WWE superstars say that they want Backlash to permanently be in Puerto Rico, they need more events in general in fucking Puerto Rico. I want to see
the United States, man. We need more pay-per-views.
I want to see one of the big five land in Puerto Rico. Like, I want to see SummerSlam in fucking Puerto Rico. Like, that would be fucking nuts, bro. SummerSlam in fucking San Juan, Puerto Rico would be fucking intense, bro. Like,
that's
dude,
a perfect spot too.
If they were to specifically keep SummerSlam in like islander areas like Puerto Rico, fucking Hawaii, fucking, you know, like all these other places, do it, because they are there to party. Those are party central. In summer, you want to be on the beach, and what better place than Hawaii or San Juan, fucking Puerto Rico? So honestly, WWE. SummerSlam, San Juan, Puerto Rico, ASAP. Fucking make it happen. I know they're in Detroit this year, but they don't got shit next to your plan, so fucking go to San Juan. Go to San Juan,
man,
bro.
Like, that would be like a perfect fit for SummerSlam. I got to go with you on that. But congratulations to @Hitman6945 for the comment of the week.
Absolutely.
If you want to get your comment featured on the We Are Wrestling podcast, all you got to do is go to our YouTube channel, We Are Wrestling, and just comment on any of our videos, and we will pick one of them.
And not everyone has to be serious. You just have to sway us. If it's fucking hilarious, well, odds are we'll throw it up here. But this time, it was a good comment to really talk about. Anyways, continue, Don.
Exactly. And speaking of Damian Priest, getting into our next topic, according to PW Insider, there's reports that there's been praise for Damian Priest for everything he's done to level himself up and has been seen as one of the top level players going forward. How do you guys feel about Damian Priest potentially getting a big push soon in WWE? They were very impressed with his work with Bad Bunny this past weekend.
So, you guys can pull up the receipts. I have talked nothing about other than great things for Damian Priest's future ever since that he dropped on to the main roster since Royal Rumble, even a little bit beforehand on the Black and Gold brand. Damian Priest has always had promise. He's always been phenomenal in the ring. He's a big dude. The dude's got the voice of fucking Darth Vader. You know, like, it just, his mic skills could improve more. Like, they already are, you know, 100%. They already are. I think the Judgment Day to reinvent him as a heel was a great thing to do. I believe it. You know, the dude's built as a main event star. I could see a title on him fucking soon. You know, but a main title. Like, I want to see the WWE title on him. I wouldn't mind seeing the Universal title on him at some point. I wouldn't even mind seeing him with the new Big Gold anymore, you know, with the Big Gold now, rather. I think that his future is super bright. You know, they've really, like, before Judgment Day, I didn't know what the fuck they were going to do with him. You know,
Same here.
I was genuinely concerned. I was confused, because he showed so much promise coming out the Royal Rumble. Like, the dude came out swinging, but immediately they kind of paired him up with people. They kind of put him in underwhelming matches. But the moment that he joined Judgment Day, he became a bigger force, and he became another Razor Ramon. Like, the dude has the same stature as Razor Ramon. You know, like, he's fucking got it, dude. I think that he deserves this push. You know, again, that match was incredible. His work with the Judgment Day has been incredible. He fucked up on one of his lines live and still fucking saved himself. A lot of people can't come back from that. I mean, look at fucking Roman Reigns and John Cena's promo. It was fucking hilarious. The dude made a funny situation and fixed it right on the fly, and barely anybody noticed. I noticed, but barely anybody noticed. But yeah, I'm a huge Damian Priest believer. I think eventually they need to turn him face again. They need to turn him face again. They need to put him in a good angle where he's not really an underdog story, because a dude that big cannot literally be an underdog. I just think that he needs to go in a bigger direction. Honestly, I'm going to give you a hot take, and it's going to be a big one, and I could get shit for this, but if done right, especially if they're going to be dragging this out a little bit longer, I could eventually see him taking the titles off Roman. Hot take. I could see him taking the titles off Roman. Like if done right,
hot one.
If done right and built absolutely right, I think that he has the potential to take the belts off Roman. I do. I do. I am a huge Damian Priest believer. I think that he could carry it. I think he could. I mean, it would have to be built up. You know, it would have to be done right. The writing has to be there.
I think it's still going to be Cody somehow, some way. They're going to find a way to get Cody to beat him.
And the thing is, I could see that too, and I could see him taking the belts off Cody. You know, it doesn't matter who. But at the same time, I see gigantic fucking things for him in the future. You know,
I do too.
In the near future too, like in the foreseeable future, I see big things happening. You know, I see him being the first one to turn on Judgment Day. Like I see Rhea leaving quietly, but I see him turning on Judgment Day, and I see him clearing fucking house.
Okay, now this is where I'm tagging myself in because I have
solo me, daddy.
I have another ultimatum to what you were just saying. Why does Damian Priest have to leave Judgment Day? Why don't we have... Because here's the thing. My opinion about Judgment Day. Every member in that group has gotten better.
Oh, absolutely. Specifically Dominic, but yeah.
Especially Dominic. You know, really becoming his own. One of the hottest, you know, heels right now with the crowd. Getting the biggest reactions. Then, you know, Rhea Ripley, one of the most popular women wrestlers right now in WWE. Nobody can stop talking about her. Then you get into Damian Priest, who has shown so much improvement. Just like Rhea Ripley, like they were always very talented, but they were just missing something. And the Judgment Day really brought that something out. And now, like, they could be seen as top level stars. But if there's one person in the mix that I feel like could definitely be better off on his own, that's Finn Balor.
See,
and that's where WWE can make. Oh, you're gonna do one of those tags where like I'm like trying to get the finisher, and then you just tag me so that you get the moment. You selfish fuck.
No, it's not about a moment. I could see this happening, and this is just kind of backing up my claim about Damian turning on them. What if? Because obviously there's going to be another dude added into the fold. Now, what if this is a way to get Damian out of Judgment Day? What if they're on a losing streak and Damian is fucking up and he's just like not saving the match? He's not doing X, Y, and Z, and Finn and Dominic are just getting fucking sick of it. And they're like, you know, you're a big dude. Why aren't you fucking doing this? Why, you know, X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. Eventually Damian snaps and just fucking clears ring, and obviously humongous fucking face pop. That would also
could happen. But
that
here's the,
is a great way. That's a great way to separate him, though, and it would be able to keep Judgment Day going in the tag team area, and then they can take the third dude, give him a singles title, or at least have him go for a singles title, and then Damian can focus on main run shit. Like, it would be a good way to break it apart. It would also showcase his strength in a triple threat. So
I'm gonna tag myself back in real quick. So here's the thing. Damian Priest, I think, definitely deserves to be, you know, pushed as a top-level player. And that's why I think on Raw within the next couple weeks, I think they should definitely make the move. And they should, you know, end up having Finn Balor get kicked out of the group. And I think the person that leads that would be Damian Priest. And that's where you could bring in JD McDonough, have him and Dominic, keep Rhea, because obviously Rhea, you know, don't fix something that's not broken.
I heard
her and Dominic have been fantastic together. And Damian Priest, let him be, you know, the leader of this group. And that would put him in, you know, the main title picture, because obviously on the Raw brand, we all know what's going to happen. Seth Rollins is going to win that World Heavyweight title. And you can have Damian Priest long-term take the title off of Seth Rollins and make the Judgment Day a legitimate threat.
That's fucking hilarious, bro.
Man, with Damian Priest, I feel like this could work out for everybody if he runs the Judgment Day.
In any
because
direction.
think about it. He's the one that, low blowed Edge, like you said. And if he attacks Finn Balor, there you go. Finn Balor's next feud could be against Damian Priest. Finn Balor can go back to doing like the demon thing and going back to being one of the top baby faces in WWE. And I think especially with Triple H running things now in WWE, Finn Balor, will be in the right direction if he leaves the Judgment Day.
See, here's the thing. That's where I kind of agree to disagree. I think Finn is amazing in Judgment Day. I love his heel work. I think that he could spend a little bit more time in Judgment Day because technically he's like the unofficial leader. Like he took Edge's spot. I kind of want to see more Judgment Day Finn Balor, but Damian Priest, I'm cool with him splitting off because that dude needs a main event opportunity where Finn's already had it. Finn's already had his flowers. He's the first fucking Universal Champion. Like he's already established. Damian needs this where Finn we could do it, but I wouldn't be hyped.
But you see here, man, this is also what I'm thinking about as well. So hear me out.
I'm listening.
If Damian Priest becomes the leader of Judgment Day, this gives him that top level player feel because he's going to be the leader of the group.
So kind of like the tribal chief of the bloodline, like he's like he's calling the shots and shit, so they can go for main titles.
And he's going to be a main act on Raw now that the bloodline isn't there. So Damian Priest leading the Judgment Day definitely going to be more beneficial for him. But now here's where Finn Balor gets involved in this situation as well.
All right, you're talking me into it.
Listen, who's a worthy opponent to beat Gunther for the Intercontinental title? The Demon. Because eventually Gunther's going to have to move on from that title.
He did say that another American wouldn't do it, and Finn's Irish. So I mean, yeah, I could see that happening. Yeah, for sure. He said another American wasn't going to do it.
Balor versus Gunther on friggin' like SummerSlam or like a Survivor Series, man. That's going to be honestly, a friggin' 5-star.
Honestly, I could do that, but yeah. All right, I'll bite. Yeah, I'll say fucking give Finn the
Damian Priest
Intercontinental.
is still in the main event picture with Judgment Day. And we get JD McDonough, a new guy that's going to, get some exposure. And I think,
he's from NXT, right?
He's from NXT. And it makes sense because him and Finn Balor have had a feud in the past because that was his mentor. So
I do remember.
There's definitely some really good storytelling there. But moving on.
Officially, before we move on, so basically you just announced the end of the Judgment Day with Finn Balor because that would be a way to break them up right there.
He lost to Seth Rollins, man, on Raw this past Monday, so Damian Priest might not like that, so he turns on Balor.
Okay. Like I said, we'll definitely see how that plays out, but I could definitely see that being a thing. You swayed me. You have officially swayed me, man.
All right. Well, moving on to our next topic before we get into our main event.
Let's do it.
We got some Matt Cardona news. Zack Ryder. And according to Fightful, Matt Cardona is no longer with Impact Wrestling. So Cardona only wrestled about 46 matches with the promotion from January 2021 to January 2023 on a handshake deal and left after officials in Impact wanted him to sign a long-term contract with the company. Despite not wanting to make the deal official, there's apparently no heat between both parties as they both remain on good terms.
That's good.
So, what's next for Matt Cardona?
Well, we already all know that Matt Cardona is arguably one of the most decorated wrestlers of our time. He's gotten over by himself. He's needed no fucking help. Yeah, man. Matt Cardona is arguably one of the success stories outside of WWE that left WWE and it benefited him. Because a lot of people that leave WWE, you don't really ever hear from them again, or they get lost in AEW, they go to Impact, you never hear from them. But Matt Cardona just always finds a way to be heard. Doesn't matter where he is, you'll just keep hearing about Matt Cardona because he's out there doing the good deed, He's a fucking extreme type of wrestler. He has shown that he can definitely
Deathmatch king.
He could definitely hang in death matches for sure. He's held many, like 6 fucking titles all at once recently, and even
Indie
texted
God.
Vince, and even texted Vince saying that he was tired of holding 6 titles. That is a
He lost
savage.
his
I'm
number.
sorry.
He's trying to get Vince's new number, I guess.
I'm sorry, but that is fucking hilarious that he's that much of a savage to text his old boss that fired his ass because he got over without him being like, "Dude, bro, I'm so sick of fucking carrying around 6 titles." Like, that's fucking savagery right there. But what's next for Matt Cardona? Whatever the fuck Matt Cardona wants. That is the most simple answer because Matt Cardona is one of those guys that successfully betted on himself every goddamn time and thrived. It doesn't matter what it is. He's another person that could be handed a pile of shit and turn it into gold.
Yeah. My thoughts, with Matt Cardona, man, no longer working with Impact. I understand it from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Impact Wrestling, obviously, they probably wanted to get a deal with Matt Cardona because he's very popular right now. He's very over. And, especially with, his, co-host, his partner, Kurt Hawkins, Brian Myers, being a part of Impact, the major players, they definitely probably wanted to get him on an exclusive deal so that he can, be the Impact champion, get some, let people hear about it more because they know Matt Cardona, that man, will get attention. He'll find a way to do it. He got attention, being the 10 pounds of gold champion during Billy Corgan's era of NWA, which is tough. And, even he had a short run in AEW and it didn't, work out for him. But with Impact, man, I feel like I understand from their side. They wanted to get him a deal, but here's the thing. Matt Cardona is a very smart businessman.
Absolutely.
And there's a reason why he did not sign that deal. Because Matt Cardona, he only wants to be on short-term deals with these promotions that he's working for because of how relevant he is in the independent circuit. He's making the most money in his entire career right now. He has his own, Major Wrestling Figure podcast. Also has his own, little independent promotion thing he does for fun.
Boom.
And Matt Cardona, he's doing fine. And why is he going to do an exclusive deal with Impact? Go to some tapings a few times a month. What if a GCW show? Because here's the thing. What if a GCW show is on? That's where he's getting most of his popularity is from Game Changer Wrestling.
So off topic, speaking of Impact, I just discovered that I have access to Impact. I could watch it every week if I wanted.
You have access to Impact?
Apparently it's involved in my Roku TV, so I could actually watch Impact every fucking week if I wanted to. Wow. I just realized that the other night. I was scrolling through. I was like, Impact?
Well, there's still millions of us that don't have access to Access TV.
Well, if you would like, I can start somewhat watching Impact, and I can discuss things going on over there.
Honestly, man, you should watch Impact and give us a review.
Of course, leave the bottom bitch to watch the worst fucking show.
No, I heard it's actually really good.
I did too. I just hate that it's on Access, but at the same time, I don't understand. I mean, beggars can't be choosers, but I don't understand why you would want your wrestling program to be on a channel that is mainly for streaming music concerts.
I don't know. Ben.
They stream
really
festivals.
Wish I had
That's what they do. I don't have the answer either, but yeah, I realized I could watch Impact. But referring to Matt Cardona and, not wanting to sign exclusive deals, like we just stated, he doesn't need to. He's relevant wherever he goes. Like you said, he thrived in a Billy Corgan era of fucking NWA. That is impressive in its fucking self, and he was still over as fuck. Yeah. I wouldn't say that AEW didn't work out for him. I would just say that there wasn't really any. Yeah, there wasn't really anything for him, and he wasn't looking necessarily for AEW because that's just going from one big TV deal immediately after and trying to sign for another one. He fucking learned his lesson the first time.
And also to remind you that the whole AEW stint, that was before that death match that got him really over in the independent circuit.
Yeah, that was his first. That was his first appearance post WWE when he left.
Which did make sense, and I know AEW wanted to get him on a long-term deal, but that's why he said no. Only short-term deals and handshake deals is what he was doing.
And man, he's the only person to successfully stick his guns and get his fucking way because he's provided every fucking time. Dude, Matt Cardona, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with anybody in WWE, but how could you not want Jesus Christ. Whew, excuse me. How could you not want this fucking guy? The dude has it all. He's chiseled out like a main event player now. His wife is in WWE again, which, by the way, I kind of like the Chelsea Green fucking
I love
Karen
it.
shit. Like, I kind of like it. I'm not going to lie. She's killing it. And she's making fucking money, honey. But, yeah,
Someone's
you know,
got to
again,
pay for those toys, man.
the figures.
Yeah, the figures,
yeah,
man.
I know she had an OnlyFans for a little bit. But, speaking... I need to pause. Hold on.
Okay. He's got to fucking play with these.
Oh, I'm such a fucking disgusting trash bag. Oh my god. I'm
He's gotta
sorry.
let these breathe.
I was thinking of the wrong toys for a second.
Oh, I know
there.
the kind of toys you're thinking
Oh
of.
god, my mind is in the
God,
fucking
you watch
gutter.
Big mouth.
My mind is in the fucking trash can that Matt Cardona probably smashed among many superstars' head. Anyways,
Woo, woo,
yes.
woo. You know it.
I'm sweating. Oh god, boob sweat. Whew. But yes, she does need to make the money for his toys.
Wrestling
yeah.
figure toys.
Yes, the wrestling figures. You know,
Woo, woo, woo.
you know it. But yeah, again, you know. But long story short, Matt Cardona has the royalties to make those decisions. You know, he can definitely thrive and survive off of those handshake short-term deals. You know, he's one of those people that has proved it nonstop, and he's one of the only superstars that has proven time and time again that WWE needs him. He doesn't fucking need WWE, man. Like, that dude is a self-made man and went into business for himself and bet on himself, and ultimately he won. It's not time.
But guys, before we get into our main event topic for this podcast, we'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling.
What is going on, guys? It's Ben here, the Lone Rager, and you guys are watching We Are Wrestling Podcast.
So, a lot of the We Are Wrestling Maniacs, you probably are wondering, if you're watching the podcast, why am I wearing MJF's scarf? Well, I'm wearing it because by the time this episode of the podcast will be coming out, I'm actually going to be going to Create a Pro tonight
yeah.
for Create a Pro Homecoming. And
Nice.
this will be, you know, MJF. He's going to be making a rare independent appearance. This is
yeah.
where, you know, he trained. And it's going to be a big moment, and I'm going to be there. And by the way, to the We Are Wrestling Maniacs, there will be a video soon because I am going to be giving MJF a present. You're not going to want to miss it. Moving on now to the main event topic for this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Yeah.
It's an AEW one.
Let's
'Cause
fucking go.
last week, obviously, we had, you know, some reports about AEW, you know, having 70,000 sales on their tickets for All In at Wembley Stadium.
Yep.
But now we got some even more bigger news for AEW because according to multiple wrestling reports, AEW is rumored to be nearing a new 5-year, $1 billion deal with
go.
Warner Brothers Discovery. So in this deal, it would include streaming rights and HBO Max, which will soon be called Max involvement. So the pay-per-views will be on there, and they'll be having, you know, additional content going to, you know, Max.
And I'm
How do you
assuming
feel
like they're
about this huge news for AEW?
okay. One, phenomenal. This is absolutely groundbreaking for a company that realistically hasn't been around for even really 5 years. So that is fucking phenomenal.
4 years.
Yep. So that is huge. That is fucking huge. Like I said, Tony Khan's going to be the next Vince McMahon, and this is one of those moves that does that. So huge. You know, are they going to include their catalog from past episodes as well of like Dynamite and Rampage? Because if that's the case, I'm going to start from day one and then just watch everything because I will get caught the fuck up if that's the case. Because if they can put all of their content on there, dude, I'll literally take days at a time and watch a lot of AEW shit just so like I'm not only familiar, I'm educated, and we could actually have legitimate in-depth discussions about AEW product, because I'm interested. And if that's going to be that easy and I have HBO Max, let's go.
And that's the thing, man. This is very huge news for a company that has only been around for 4 years.
That's fucking nuts.
Which
That
is
is so
absolutely insane. And all of these, wrestling legends and personnels, they love to, continue to criticize AEW. There's even WWE fans that continue to, find excuses, to pretty much, downplay AEW, which is absolutely absurd to me, because they're almost about to sell out Wembley Stadium, and they haven't even announced a match on this card yet, Ben.
Dude, I'm sorry, but to say that AEW is not a threat, or to say that they're not anywhere near WWE, is fucking infantile, because they're doing WWE shit in 4 years where WWE has been around for over 50 or almost 50. So yeah, man, they're fucking gaining hella momentum hella quick. Like, Tony Khan, his business is just outmatched. I mean, like, yeah, it takes a lot of money, but the dude owns the Jaguars. His dad fucking is a billionaire. So, I mean, like, dude, his dad made a good investment, because Tony is really killing it out here in the fucking wrestling game. He really fucking is.
He's turning this investment into a profit.
And he's genuinely doing the work. Like, he's genuinely, like, there. He's into his product. He's taking his time really learning from a lot of his mistakes. Like, is he repeating some mistakes? Yes. Everybody's not perfect. But he's improving, and he's taking that time to do so. And he's showing up on TV a lot more. He's, making a lot of good business moves, which is fucking business is so important in wrestling. It is so fucking important, and it takes a real mastermind and a genius to catapult you in the right direction and make those big calls. This is huge for AEW. This is a huge dub on Tony Khan's behalf. Like, again, I have no negative qualms about it. Like, I get to finally catch up. I get to catch the pay-per-views. I get to watch them when I miss them. Like, I'm good. Like,
and
I'm set now.
I just want to say this, guys. This is coming from a WWE fan saying this, because there's a lot of WWE fans out there that continue to slander AEW. Like, if you don't like AEW, okay, cool. But you need to call it like it is, and AEW is, they're succeeding. They're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, man.
And they're about to get a $1 billion deal.
And a 5-year long contract. Get the fuck out of here, man. Like, that's huge, dude. Like,
HBO Max. Over a million people have that.
Dude,
you know
Warner
how much
Brothers,
freaking doors are being opened now to, even more people that haven't even heard about All Elite Wrestling?
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, dude. Like I said,
this is huge.
Yeah, man. Tony Khan, like, again, like Don just said, I am a huge WWE supporter. I'm a huge WWE fan. I'm a day one, but I've never been against AEW. I haven't had it in my disposal. I don't have cable like a lot of people. I don't care for cable. We live in a time of streaming services now. So the fact that we're getting it on HBO Max, one of, if not the most successful streaming service at the moment, minus maybe Disney Plus, which is also kind of in the same realm, it's huge. It's fucking huge. So the fact that, it's not only going to open to a broader audience, you're about to turn people that weren't even fans into wrestling fans. You're about to get fans that want to watch your product on it now. Like, dude, their viewership is going to fucking fly. Like, they're going to catapult even farther with this deal. Like, mark my fucking words, man. They're going to be neck and neck with WWE within the next 10 years.
And something like I do want to add to all of this, because I have been, hearing some of, the wrestling, podcasters out there going in depth about, AEW, the reason why they're, worth this money, because you have to realize in sports, there's an off season.
Yep.
In pro wrestling, there isn't. And a network like USA, Fox, TNT, TBS, if they have access to a Monday Night Raw or a Friday Night SmackDown or a Wednesday Night Dynamite or a Saturday Night Collision, of course they're going to want to, give WWE and AEW all of this money because it's consistent television. There's no off season. It's all year round. Yeah. And with this deal, this is huge for AEW because they have been investing, the past 4 years on, their rookie deal with, Warner Brothers. And they've been able to, really take advantage of, the finances and the investments that they've made.
With this deal, are they still going to be on TBS and shit, or are they going to be on HBO now, like HBO Max? Like, are they going to be streaming there?
That I don't know. So I
We'll
guess
have to see.
next Wednesday they're making Tony Khan has a huge announcement, and I think this is going to be the announcement.
No, for sure.
Collision, and I think they're going to be also doing a press conference with Warner Brothers as well.
Yeah,
to give us more details on this new crazy deal.
Yeah, because if they do TBS and they also stream it, I'll be able to catch the shows. Like, I'll be able to watch, like, after work, I'll be able to watch them, or even during work some nights, like, when I'm on my breaks, I could watch bits and pieces of the show. Like, I'm stoked for it, man. Like, if they dual stream from TBS and HBO Max and have different networks at the same time streaming, bruh, like, I'm gonna catch wrestling all around, because at that point, I have fucking access to WWE. I have access to fucking Impact. I have access to AEW. The only thing now that I need access to is fucking Ring of Honor.
And that I'm probably not going to be able to have access to because I refuse to pay $10 a month for the Honor Club and additional money for their pay-per-views. That's why I haven't gotten it.
Okay,
yet.
never mind.
I'm very sorry. But our buddy
dude,
Ricky actually does have it, and he does watch it. He said it's pretty good.
Well, that's good, and all the power to the people that want to do that and that can afford to do that. Me, I'm not one of those people. I am not one of those people. Man. And they just don't have the roster that would compel me to want to watch it for that money.
Same
you
here.
know? So that's my only issue. But with this deal, if there are good details in it, like, again, if they do a multi-stream for their shows, obviously their pay-per-views are going to be on there now. Their catalog potentially will be on there. But my big thing is if they dual stream the live shows, I'm there.
It's going to open 100. A lot of doors for a lot of people that don't have access to TBS.
I'm not limited anymore. I'm not limited anymore at that point. And if they can do that, this podcast is about to get a lot more interesting because now all of us are going to be exclusively watching both brands.
And that's the thing, man. Like, with this crazy news, it's, it's crazy. It's crazy to, see this happen. And, like, as a day one AEW fan watching the All In show, which, wasn't an AEW show, but then seeing the press conference in Jacksonville when they announced All Elite Wrestling and Chris Jericho made his debut.
Fucking God.
I've been a day one fan, so seeing them start from where they began before having a weekly show, Dynamite, to now is absolutely mind-blowing. And with
they were
this
on the
money,
internet.
This is huge because in the pro wrestling world right now, going into the end of 2023, all of 2024, there's a lot of big free agents coming up. MJF, he's going to be a free agent January 1st. Young Bucks and Kenny, 2024, their contracts are up. Drew McIntyre, the end of 2023, his contract is up. And with $1 billion, AEW is going to have enough money to, bring these guys back and also bring additional talent to their stacked rosters.
So, before we end this, then, that begs the question. And the final big question. With this being in mind, think MJF's going to jump ship in 2024 now? It's a bidding war. It's a bidding war, man. Because this is huge. Because now both companies can provide somewhat of the same ballpark, but unfortunately WWE can offer more. So I'm like, depending on his contract and what he's offered, he may stay. But he still has been talking about his other options. So I could see MJF. I could see MJF thrive in WWE. My only issue is he's gonna have to dial it down, and I don't know if I want him to do that because he is MJF, and MJF would not be able to be as over as he is in a very condensed company, if you know what I mean. So I don't know, but I could see him thrive anywhere he goes just because the dude's got it. He's got it.
Yeah, so with MJF jumping ship to WWE, there's always that possibility. We're in May of 2023 right now. Anything can change. And I think MJF does sign another long-term deal with AEW.
A long-term or an
think-
extension?
I
Just to
think
kind of test out the waters of the new
like
deal.
when I say like extension, like long-term, I say
a
like
year?
maybe like a 5-year deal, like John Moxley did.
See, I would say maybe a
hear me
year.
out. Hear me out, though. Hear me out real quick.
Okay.
Here's why I say that. MJF is very young right now, and I think going into 2024, I do think that AEW knows MJF's value more than WWE knows it.
See,
And I think that's where AEW is going to give him more money, and he's not going to be able, he's going to be able to work less dates.
Yeah.
And I think that's where,
but-
he's going to make that decision.
But here's the other thing. I could see him maybe extending his contract for a year rather than 5, because 5 is a commitment. With a year, yeah, you're stuck there for another year, but you get to test the waters, see how you feel about this new deal, see how you feel about your contract and what's getting actually fulfilled, because just because there's a contract doesn't mean that everything gets fulfilled. So it would give him a little incentive to kind of like see where they're at, but with how much everything in life happens, he is young, yes, but anything could happen in that 5 years, and then that potential, what if with WWE could be a pipe dream in a matter of a second. So
you make a great point there.
We've lost a lot of wrestlers recently. We lost Jamie Pugh. We lost fucking Razor Ramon randomly as fuck. It just
Brody Lee.
Brody Lee. We are in a time where things are very limited and life can be cut short in an instant. So with that being said, I don't know. I could see him go to WWE just to see.
You want to know my deciding factor
He could
on
do a
him
3-year
resigning?
there. What's up?
So I do think like he does sign 3 to 5 years with the extension, because it's going to be a big contract that I think
get that.
not a lot of wrestlers ever seen before. It's going to be one of the biggest contracts in pro wrestling, I think.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that happening if he decided to. But
I'll tell you his
say,
deciding factor.
like, I could definitely see him going to WWE because he's young, because he's younger than us. Well, I think he's maybe your age. He's younger. So to extend it a year for AEW, test the waters, jump ship, go to WWE, sign a 3-year deal rather than a 5-year deal, so he could spend 3 years there, see how he feels, and then he's still young enough to be an AEW full-timer if he doesn't like what he's went through. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He is so young
I think it's
that he
I
could
think
jump ship.
I think it's 3 to 5, definitely. So probably
Yeah.
3 years realistically.
Yeah, so like,
thinking about
3
it.
years, if he goes to WWE, 3 years. Sign it for 3 years, see how you feel. You don't like it, let your contract run out, bounce back to AEW full time, because he is super fucking young. He's in his mid-20s. He's 25 years old. So it's like,
I think 26.
or he's a year or two
27?
young. He's younger than me by a couple of years. Like, he was 24 when he won that title. Or something like that.
How old is MJF? 27 years old.
He's 27? Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's a little bit younger than me. All right. So he just had his birthday pass. So yeah, he just turned 27.
Because usually a wrestler's prime is usually 33. to
Between
35
33
years
and
old.
35. Yeah. So
That's why I said the 5 years, because he's still young. He's not gonna he's gonna hit his prime after his next extension.
and that's why I'm saying, like, I would rather him jump ship to WWE now, because he can go back to AEW and still be in his prime, rather than jump ship while he's in his prime, come back and he's not as good as he used to be. Whereas if he went to WWE now after a year extension with AEW to test the new contract, I would rather that, because he could still have a lot of gas in the tank, feel the other company that he has dreamed about being in since he was a child, and then go back if he really wants to and still be in his prime and still have beyond fucking diesel fuel in the fucking tank, because MJF has years on him left. So I would rather him experience it early while there are still marquee names in WWE, rather than have him wait and then have that wasted potential in WWE and have him get lost in the fold. Because there are big names still there that he could tussle with. By the end of that 5-year extension with AEW, he wouldn't be able to.
In pro wrestling, man, there is always those what ifs. But
Exactly.
here's where I think MJF makes the decision to stay in AEW.
Okay.
It's all going to come down to AEW All In, Wembley Stadium, because I think the one thing that AEW doesn't have that WWE has is a WrestleMania. And every wrestler definitely has had that dream of wrestling at WrestleMania.
Mhm.
And they can admit it or not, but everybody's had that dream. And MJF, I think, when he performs as the AEW World Heavyweight Champion in front of 90,000 people, I think for a promotion that he helped build, that's going to be more important to him than go to WWE with the roller coaster.
I agree, but at the same time, I agree to disagree because I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but if you want to make your own WrestleMania, that's fine. But the dream of having your WrestleMania moment will never die because that is everybody's dream. That is where legends were made. That is where the wrestlers he grew up loving are from. Hunter Hearst Helmsley is literally the head of creative who watches AEW, who guarantee watches AEW and loves MJF, likely. Okay. My phone just randomly lit up and turned on TikTok to the We Are Wrestling clip. Anyways, that was Danny talking. But yeah, like I see him leaving earlier, going to WrestleMania, doing his thing, doing 3 years, and then bouncing. Because at that point, he knocked it off his bucket list. He was in the company that he loved growing up, didn't fuck with it, goes back to AEW, talks a bunch of shit, and makes money off it. It's not a lose-lose. I can see it going either way, and I would be happy.
Yeah, so honestly, like as of right now, I don't see MJF leaving, but things can always change. Maybe even in front of 90,000 people, MJF's there and he thinks about it and he says, well, I could be doing that more than one time a year with WWE.
And what a fucking way to do that at the first Wembley show as the world champion. So yeah, that's a huge fucking deal. And MJF just happened to fall at the right place at the right time in this moment because he's gonna go in as the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. So it's kind of fucking dope. But if you're gonna have a show that big and want to make it your WrestleMania, you're gonna have to do a lot better than name it All In. You're gonna have to be a lot more creative than that.
Yeah, but here's the thing, man. I just think overall, with all of this news happening with AEW, a lot of these guys that were, going to leave, I do see a lot of them potentially staying now because, of course, in WWE, they don't even know if Vince McMahon's in charge or not. We've heard different reports at different times about, Vince McMahon trying to, ruin what Triple H is doing and, certain people getting pushed. And because Vince McMahon, has a little bit of a saying, he's, back to being the CEO. And that can also be another factor in, other people's decisions not to be a part of, WWE.
I agree, but I'm also waiting for the day that Vince, that fucking Triple H just tells Vince to fuck off because legally he could. So,
also too, one thing I want to add too.
What's up?
One of the most popular NXT women right now, Gigi Dolan.
She wants to go back as Priscilla Kelly.
Yep, she just posted on her Instagram story.
Yeah, she
said that she misses being Priscilla Kelly.
Yeah, Priscilla Kelly. Yeah, it just wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. Or Priscilla Kelly. Yeah, Priscilla Kelly. That's her name.
Because at the end of the day, man, WWE and AEW, they are very different when it comes to creative freedom, and that's something that MJF is going to have to say. And sadly, MJF, if he goes to WWE, he's gonna have to say goodbye to it.
Yeah.
But honestly, man, with all this crazy AEW news, I'm very happy for Tony Khan. I'm very happy for all of the guys and girls that are, a part of AEW because they've really built something special and they've really given us, We Are Wrestling Maniacs, an alternatum. They've given us, another promotion to watch besides WWE. And as a pro wrestling fan,
it's a win.
I'm very happy to see AEW succeeding because them getting a $1 million deal or $1 billion deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, going on HBO Max, selling out 90,000 seats at Wembley Stadium. This is a huge W for pro wrestling.
Oh, absolutely, man.
And I think that's the best way to end this week's episode of the podcast.
Let's do it.
So if you guys enjoyed this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast, make sure to smash that like button now. Give us a 5-star review if you're listening to this. If you're not, we are Wrestling Maniac. You already subscribe or follow us. And the links down in the YouTube descriptions below. You can go follow Ben and I on our social medias and other YouTube pages.
Danny,
all
if you
that
want
down
to.
below. There will not be Danny's links down below because he didn't make it through the rest of this episode. But in addition, you want shorter clips of the podcast. You don't want to sit through an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of us talking about pro wrestling. We have shorter clips on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. All that down below. And of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.